Hi, I'm Lauren McCracken, and you're watching my podcast, Cracken's Corner. And this is a bit of a change of pace from our usual format, so please bear with me. This is episode 12, Craft and Chat number 1. So, as I'd mentioned previously, this is kind of a new concept for my channel. I'm not really sure how often I'll do this or something similar to it, but I love making things and I hope I can tell stories and talk about life as I do them, just to change things up a little bit. If you enjoy this or have any recommendations for me to do in a future episode, please comment below and let me know what you think I should try next. So I actually had this idea to start making a really bright and cheerful kind of spring summerish looking wreath that I can hang up in our house for a while now, but I didn't really start it until I was feeling really overwhelmed and stressed out as we were watching like the final weeks of my nanny's life play out. I've always turned to making things and trying to do things, especially artistically, when I'm having a hard time. I don't know why. I just find it comforting, I guess. So I've wanted to have one of these and make one of these for a while, but that kind of pushed me into it. So I got all my materials for this, almost all of them really, from Michael's. I got the little foam core thing for the inside of the wreath from there, as well as these pretty multicolored remnants of fabric and ribbon. I've got this gigantic honkin' heavy duty glue gun that's actually Andy's that I'm borrowing because I don't know where mine is right now, and a whole bunch of these little flowers in different sizes from Michael's and various like dollar stores and stuff. I try not to hoard flowers, but apparently I do, so I do try to at least use them now if I buy new ones and put them forward to like an actual project I intend to use it on instead of just keeping them for like an unknown day. I also got these pretty little battery powered lights that I'm going to string around it in the end, and hopefully that'll all be good. And also I think I got this thing off of Wish. It's like this little silicone heart thing that was originally intended to be used for like cleaning your makeup brushes, but I really don't use makeup brushes much, so I sort of used it for my paint brushes instead. And then after I stopped painting as often, I've been using it just to protect my hands from like hot glue guns and stuff, which it works pretty well at most of the time. So yeah, one of my favorite things about making really any kind of art is usually that I can just kind of listen to music and let my mind be free for a little while and relax, which is really hard for me to do as someone who's anxious by nature and deals with depression. It kind of feels like a little vacation where all of a sudden everything else disappears and the only thing in the whole world that matters for a little while is me completing a project that I have, making this idea in my head come to life. So I don't think I'm like especially good at making these. I've been making them for, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 years now. I'm not even sure when I started, but I do feel like I get better at it over time just because I guess that's how anything works. The more you do it, the better you get. I also really like to make little paintings, and usually they're like abstract, but sometimes they're a little more put together, or like a flower crown, or sometimes I'll work with mixed media, which is a lot more fun, I think, just because it feels more free and like there's less rules to what makes it good or bad. So I don't judge myself as harshly for those pieces. And yeah, sometimes I'll like upcycle old pieces of like furniture and stuff that I have that are kind of boring and outdated and make them more fun and bright, though I don't do that too often. Every once in a while I'll get around to it. I feel like I usually lose track of the time when I do stuff like this, so I always try to like set alarms on my phone so I remember when to stop and like eat my meals and snacks and all that. So yeah, I'm going to do that this time as well. So I guess what I want this to be is like a little bit of a journal, a little bit of a diary entry, something a little bit more personal, and like maybe just telling stories throughout the week as they come. Like I said, I don't know how often I'll do something like this. It probably isn't going to be all the time, but maybe even if it's just like once a month or so, I think that could be fun just to change things up. So this week I went to my physical therapy appointments. I've been really good about keeping up with everything. And I think I've been pretty good about not saying too much as I go there because my friend is like the lead PT there, and I'm the kind of person that loves to talk to people, so it's really hard for me to like, not to tell stories, but I also don't want to like embarrass anybody, so I try to like keep everything close to the chest as much as I can while still being friendly and like as normal as I can be, which is hard because like I'm a people pleaser. I like to make people happy. I like to share stuff, but I know that I can't always, and I'm getting better at that. But yeah, my friend, it's really funny because I've actually known him since he was like a little kid because he was originally friends with my younger brother. So I knew him as a kid, and I knew him as, you know, like one of our friends in the neighborhood. And as I got a bit older, I also met him sort of again. I mean, I never really lost connection with him, so it's sort of weird that way. But kind of got to know him in a different way as a really close friend of my husband. So he was in our wedding, like he's super tight. We talk all the time. We hang out a lot. Just super nice, like down to earth, extremely professional doctor who's worked his butt off to get his degree. And like, I admire that so much. I wish I had that kind of like brain and dedication to making like such a concrete difference in the world, because he helps so many people with this stuff. I mean, I know it's helping me, and I'm just one of like a lot of people. So I'm grateful for that, and I'm trying to be good and keep up with all the homework and stuff that he gives me because I think it's gonna actually make a difference. So yeah, we did that, and this weekend on our way to do something else, Andy and I actually passed this little store. It's called Riker's German Meat Market. It's like a little food store slash butcher place down in Philly. Since now we live outside of the city, it's a little weird going back and seeing parts that I just haven't been to really yet. I've always heard about Riker's because growing up, my pop-up is like very, very German, and for Christmas every year we would always end up buying him special food from there because they have a lot of specialty foods from Germany and other countries sort of like around it in the general area of Europe. So it was actually my first time going in there to see it and experience it. And it's kind of funny because I'm like a vegetarian. I have been since I was like 4 years old. I didn't really know what to expect, but like, I don't know how much of this is nostalgia versus just like an unexpected experience. But like, I walked in and it smelled so good to me, which is weird because like usually the smell of most meats does not really do anything for me. And I was like, oh, it actually smells kind of good in here. So like, I wonder if just like the mixture of that with the other food that they offer, like the sauerkraut and the chocolates and all these little tiny specialty foods, kind of just reminded me of my grandparents. So it made me happy. It was really cool walking around there and seeing all these little things, and it gave me an excuse to call my pop-up and be like, hey, I'm in the area. Do you want me to pick you up anything? Because I know you like this stuff. And, you know, he didn't ask for anything, but we still got to stop over, and it kind of gave me a reason to go and just spend a little time with him and my aunt, as I know they're going through a rough time right now, really trying to adjust to their lives changing in such a major way. And it was really nice just to get to talk to them for a little bit. And it's always neat seeing my pop-up interact with Andy because the two of them have a lot in common. Personality-wise, I would guess they're probably the same type. They're very similar in like their interests and the things that they care about and like what they're passionate about and their demeanor. So it's kind of like an interesting mirror when they talk to each other. And my pop-up actually gave Andy this cool old camera that he bought when he was over in Germany during his time in the U.S. Army. So that was really neat. And I know that we're hoping to maybe do like a photo shoot using it sometime in the future, and that would be really nice. So there's also just something really special about, there's this feeling of coming home whenever you get to, if you're lucky enough, at least I should say, to see your grandparents, if you have like a good relationship with them and they're still around. I love being back in their house, even now when I know that like my nanny isn't there anymore. It's comforting just to like be in this place that she spent so much time and put so much energy into making beautiful and into making her home and an environment to like raise her family. So it's just really nice being back there. We also got to see, I finally got to meet my newest niece, baby Avery, who is like 5 weeks old. She's so tiny and so cute. I'm amazed. Like every time I meet one of my nieces or nephews, which is more common than probably most people, we have 9 nieces and 2 nephews just on Andy's side of the family, not even counting mine, with all my cousins' children and my friends' children and all that. It's a lot more, but every time I get to meet a new member of our family, it just feels so incredible. And looking at this little baby girl and seeing her expression and getting to just hold her and talk to her and like knowing this is the first time that she's meeting me is so cool. And I hope that I can, build a lot of memories with her and watch her grow up and see all the cool things that she's going to accomplish over her life. And I'm just like so proud of her big sister, Riley, who, was an only child for the first couple years of her life. Now she's a big sister and she's being really cool about it and helping her parents out. And it's just amazing. And I even got to see one of her little cousins, one of our nieces, Jade, get to spend time with her. And Jade herself is still pretty young, but she's like fascinated by babies, and she was so excited to get to spend time with baby Avery, and it was so wholesome and so like heartwarming. I just loved seeing them interact together. It made me so happy. So just reflecting, I guess, a little bit on where I am now compared to last year. Around this time last year, Andy and I were like finally kind of settling into our house after making a whole bunch of different little repairs and trying to make things into our own home and painting the walls and doing a whole lot of work. I have to give a lot of credit to our family and our friends, most especially the Belcher family, because they have always been solid with helping us through everything that we needed, whether it was installing a garbage disposal or painting our kitchen or, just helping to make sure that our house became this comfortable, cozy, safe, secure, livable place. And I'm just so incredibly thankful and grateful that we have people like that in our lives. And I guess I really hope that I'll get to see more of them, especially as hopefully, things get better during this pandemic. Unfortunately, I know cases have been on the rise again, and we're vaccinated. Everyone we are close with are also vaccinated. So I'm hoping that makes a difference in this. I'm trying to be optimistic despite all the doom and gloom that seems to be always on the horizon with this kind of an unexpected event. But in some ways, I feel kind of bad that we've sort of, like, things have kind of gotten better for us in a weird way because of the pandemic. There's no way that I would have ever dreamt that we'd be able to afford a house, but because of the way that all of our circumstances played out, We didn't get to have the wedding that we were originally planning. We didn't get to have the reception that we had originally planned. We didn't get to have the honeymoon that we had originally planned. Everything was kind of thrown up in the air, and we made our best out of everything we got. And somehow it ended up putting us into a position where we could actually afford a home, which blows my mind. Just growing up as a millennial in this current environment with substantial student loan debt, and like knowing that I'm working my butt off every day, and so is my husband, and I've always felt kind of trapped by that. But knowing that because of these crazy, horrible situations, at least something positive seems to have resulted for us. Something, I guess that's the silver lining in this crazy dark cloud that I am grateful for. I'm just so happy that we have a place, and yeah, it's a little home, but it's a beautiful little home, and we're making the best of it, and I really love it and appreciate every single little piece of this place, because it's really something that we've made ourselves, and it feels so comfortable now, even though maybe, in a couple years, if things change and we want to do things differently in our lives, we may have to expand on it, for example, then that's fine. We'll figure it out as we go, and that's all we really can hope to do, I guess, with life. So this year, I feel like I've really learned a lot about the value of family and how fragile everything is. Like, just how quickly things can change is insane. From having people around and then suddenly they're gone and they're not around anymore, to how things can get better like so much faster, and the importance of like telling people when you're having a hard time, because it is so hard to communicate that. And I feel like this podcast has allowed me to do that a little bit more, which is always a good thing, and put my voice out there and try to make a difference in the lives of other people. I actually had the idea to start this podcast while I was in the shower one day, reflecting on my life and my life's purpose, which is like a thing I do way more often than I probably should. But I was like, I really do want to do something creative to try to make the world a little bit better. And maybe I should start a podcast, even though like I'm just a regular person. I'm not famous. I'm not special. I don't think I'm like super talented or anything, but I like to believe that I have some insight and I know I care. So I hope that counts for something, and that I can keep up with this and keep making content every week as hard as it can be. And yeah, I guess I really have no idea where this podcast is going to go in the future, but I'm hopeful that I can maintain it and that it will continue to make a difference in the lives of people who have decided to tune in and join me on this journey. I know I only have like a really small amount of subscribers right now, but like I love each and every one of you, and I like treasure the fact that you actually care enough to consume what I'm putting out here into the world. It means a lot. And yeah, I really hope that I can keep doing this and that you like it, and that it will continue to slowly grow into something really cool, because it really has been a crazy like year. But I'm just really happy that I do have people in my life that really care about me and my husband and our lives and our family, even through very difficult times. And it's been a lesson in resilience and, just learning how to pick yourself up when things are hard, and knowing when to ask for help and how to ask for help, and accepting that you can't do everything alone, which is really hard for me because I'm really stubborn, and it's something I'm still trying to work on. But I do think that my life is heading in a better direction. And while I know I'm an idealistic person, I really want to believe that my ambition is rooted in practicality, and that I just really hope that whatever I put out into this podcast is going to help somebody or make someone feel better for a while, or help them forget about like something that's making them upset, and give them the strength. I hope that I can give you guys the strength and the courage to face things that are really difficult right now, because I know that, especially as somebody with OCD, I deal with a lot of fear. I'm an Enneagram 6, so like fear is like my core emotion that I experience all the time. And I try to overcome it and I try to fight it, but man, is that exhausting. And sometimes all I need is someone to just like be there to support me or tell me that they care, and I can suddenly do things that I didn't think I could ever do before. So I just wanted to thank you for everything, and I really hope that you like this. The wreath now finally has its little lights on it, and Andy kind of helped me out with that because had some kind of issue with the wiring, which was weird because I've used this brand and this kind of setup before and I've never had an issue, but thank God he can fix anything. So he figured it out and we rewrapped it, and now it's all cool and like actually looks nice. So I'm excited about hanging it up somewhere in my house. Yeah. So thank you so much for tuning in. Next week is going to be probably like a more normal episode where you'll be seeing me and my face, and I'll have a regular structure kind of dealio back. And yeah, thank you so much for listening, I guess. And have a great week. I love you. Stay safe. Please be careful and do something courageous this week if you can. All right. I'll see you later. Bye.